Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing.
50 Cent just locked his crosshairs on Jim Jones, and man, it's getting ugly. Jim sparked the chaos by dissing Nas during Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast, claiming he's a better rapper than Nas and has done more for the culture than Nas ever could. That's wild talk.
Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy popping all that bullshit. I be seeing Jimmy talking about, we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. Talking about, we Gucci boo boo. The Black King niggas was going fuck you up. Jimmy, they was like, Marita Monero.
Especially coming from someone who used to idolize Nas. So what made him flip the script like that? And could Jay-Z be quietly pulling strings behind the curtain? See, this isn't just a random diss. 50 Cent is straight up accusing Jim of being a Jay-Z puppet.
He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally, he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew, I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you got to watch and see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that. Like, give me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy. Yeah, but that was one of those things I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was going to ever happen again at that point. And then he's going, for them, they had records that were, look, I always said it's a certain artist, I go, damn, when is he going to have his moment? Like, Fab, I said this.
And honestly, the timeline's suspicious. For years, Jim dragged Hav through the mud, clowning him in interviews, throwing shots every chance he got. Then suddenly he's acting like Jay's his big brother? Nah, that switch-up looks sketchy. Let's spin it back to when the chaos started. Jim sat down with Fat Joe and Jadakiss to talk about recent hits. Joe mentioned the wild comparisons floating around. The younger crowd saying Jim's done more for hip-hop than Nas. That was Jim's moment to keep it humble. Maybe show some love. But instead, he laughed and said, "These new kids don't even know Nas." Then doubled down, saying his own influence is way bigger. Like, bro.
I recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
yeah, that's my young boy.
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying, Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
so to be compared,
let me
that young kid.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
Yes. What? Now don't get it twisted. Dipset had their moment for sure. They shaped a whole era. But Jim didn't even shout out the Diplomats when bragging about his legacy. He made it all about himself, like he carried Harlem on his back solo. You could see Jadakiss's face drop instantly. Man looked like he just heard the most delusional take of the year.
So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan, period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that, I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We're talking about 94, 93, I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025. There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? And I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in, that I came into light and started going crazy, that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them, though. But
You know what I mean?
A lot
Like-
of them, though.
He didn't even have to speak. His silence screamed, "Stop the cap!" Everyone knows Nas is a certified legend. Meanwhile, Jim didn't start getting real respect in rap till Ballin' hit the charts. And now, the same dude who was hyped just to meet Nas last year is suddenly claiming he's the better artist? That ain't bold confidence, that's straight ego. Jadakiss kept it cool, but his expression said it all. And you know every major artist in the game caught that clip. But Jim didn't stop there. He went full throttle. He said he could out-rap Nas. Better bars, sharper flow, more impact, more relevance, the whole nine.
But I hear the comparisons and the nigga be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I got to show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there.
Hold on.
I want to go down the line now because now we going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
no. Let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
And forget about the numbers. My numbers back up.
Let me step up to the forefront.
Then he had the nerve to say, "I'm more relevant now than Nas has ever been." That's not confidence. That's chaos. To justify it, Jim started flashing numbers, Billboard charts, Spotify streams, viral hits, top albums, trying to turn data into his defense. But the internet wasn't buying it. Nas fans pulled up receipts fast, real fast, and they lit him up. They flooded the comments, reposted stats, and dragged Jim for disrespecting a man who's been crafting classic albums since before Jim even got a record deal.
Put it to you like this, Jim. Hey, bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
Y'all
but look
ain't
how
ever
you
with
dress.
Nas.
Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the
But
things
I-
that we, listen to
I
me,
can be in the church house. You can't F with Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. You're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than
It
Nas.
don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Ain't nobody,
Ain't all in your,
ain't
all in
nobody
your
from
film.
Dipset gonna take
Shannon,
you
that
over
show-
Nas.
And let's be real, this beef didn't just pop up overnight. This energy been brewing since the early 2000s, back when Nas called out Dipset and even mocked Cam'ron's Come Home With Me, calling it trash. Cam clapped back over Nas' Hate Me Now beat, and just like that, a full-blown war erupted. For years, the two camps traded shots, diss tracks, and interviews, Harlem versus Queens, Pride versus Legacy. But here's where it really twists. While that Dipset versus Nas feud was going off, Jim and Jay-Z were also beefing.
Coming up and things like that.
I heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that, like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody else. Before I heard Jay do it, before I heard anybody else, like he changed the cadence of rap into a whole different steam. Like he's the one that broke the camel's back when it came to artists like, to me, when it came to artists like Big Daddy Kane and all these artists that came right before him. Like after Nas came with that, they started to fade out, and then Jay, Fat Joe, like all of these rappers that are spitting about the life that we was really starting to live right now and how it was changing. Like this is, you know what I mean? So that's how I felt about that whole little situation.
Jay used to clown Jim publicly, and things got ugly quick. The real tension exploded when Jay refused to make Cam'ron the vice president of Rockefeller. That decision caused a massive fallout between the Harlem crew, and Hav Jim took Cam's side hard, and that move kicked off a long, nasty rivalry with Jay himself. Fast forward to today, Jim's suddenly praising Jay-Z and dissing Nas after spending years firing shots at both of them.
Diplomats know nobody else. Me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and like that. If you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no number ones, while Nas has 27 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 that have reached number 1 on the Billboard 200.
Right now, 2025, I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap
You don't want
circles
no
around.
smoke.
Jim Jones is rapping at a high capacity right now in 2025. I'm on record as saying I think some of the best music that's been coming out of New York in recent years has been from Jim Jones. I haven't seen Nas in that mode. Nas still makes great music at a high level. I just haven't seen Nas in that, let's get active, getting at each other mode.
This ain't no coincidence. Something strategic's going on here, a move that's got the whole rap world watching every word. Jim Jones and Cameron always felt like they got played. They believed Rockefeller used Harlem just to look cool, then tossed them aside like they didn't matter. Remember, it was Dame Dash who originally brought them into the rock circle, not Jay-Z. But when Jay took the throne, Jim and Cam felt like he pushed them out on purpose, like he wanted to erase Harlem's shine. And Jim, he didn't stay quiet about it one bit. He went right at Jay, calling him soft, claiming he was disconnected from the streets and accusing him of locking Harlem out of the whole Rockefeller movement. And this wasn't just some rap talk. Jim really took it to the streets.
Jim Jones went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's. Oh, look, a topic in a topic. Yeah. He went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast and had a lot to say about some dude on the internet that said Jim Jones is better than Nas and has more Billboard hits than Nas.
It was a young kid. I believe he was like 23 or something, 22, 23. And he was saying that for his generation, his era, they don't look at Nas. And a lot of people took offense to that. I personally did not take offense just because of the kid's age, of the generation.
It's like a sports conversation. Like the numbers are the numbers. But in New York City, with rappers, we don't necessarily go by that.
Yes, Travis Scott is the bigger act, more hits, more numbers, more. But to the rappers, don't nobody give a about what Travis Scott is talking about.
On December 22nd, 2008, he got into a full-on brawl at a Louis Vuitton store in Manhattan. And the guy he fought? A close friend and business partner of Jay-Z. This wasn't some random altercation. It was personal. Jim ended up pleading guilty to misdemeanor assault almost a year later, and that fight became proof that his beef with Hav ran deep. Way deeper than rap.
What's up with that Jim Jones, man? Hip-hop, of course, is a competitive sport. But on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like, Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family. Oh my God. I was saying last night, it's like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Jordan, like, you a bum. Like, you want to be like the 9th guy on the bench. I'm not even worried about you.
But here's where it gets crazy. After all that drama, after years of calling Jay out and clowning him publicly, Jim folded. He went right back, crawling for a deal from the same man he'd been dissing for decades. That's wild. The same dude who wanted to bring Jay down was now hoping Hav would rescue his career. That's why people say Jim can't be trusted. He's known for switching sides when things get tight. It's like he's allergic to loyalty. And that right there, that's why 50 Cent never respected him.
I'm still here. From whatever you painted the picture to me to being a hype man, or he wasn't the best rapper, or he just started to get whatever you want to narrative you want to paint, you still got to listen to me talking to you right now in 2025. What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing is when him and Jay was beating on him. You heard?
Back in 2007, when the G-Unit versus Dipset beef was at its peak, Jim shocked the whole industry by showing up at a G-Unit event. 50 had invited him, but not to sign him. Nah, 50 was playing chess while Jim was still playing checkers. He brought Jim out just to expose him. 50 wanted to prove to everyone, especially Cameron, that Jim would do anything for a little shine. It was a setup, plain and simple. 50 humiliated him in front of the whole game. No contract, no deal, just a cold reminder that loyalty means something in this business. From that day on, 50 saw Jim as weak, a man with no code. Now fast forward, 50 and Jay-Z have been in a quiet Cold War for years. So when Jim ran back to Jay begging for a lifeline, that was it. He officially became 50's enemy. The second that Roc Nation deal went through, the vibe shifted heavy.
I wasn't in the ad because of look, Jay-Z and them was putting it together. Mm-hmm. So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are.
Like, what is the issue? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I with M, because like with Nori he had communication. He said, yeah, I talked to the big homie. He said, to Jay, he was telling me, you know, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50.
I hit the homie, the big homie Jay-Z, right? And I told him to come pull up on me. And he pulled up on me and he said, the white guy called for 50 Cent. So I said, who's the white guy? I'm digging this Jimmy Iovine. And he said, no, Eminem called directly for 50. And he said,
that's his guy.
He said, I can't do it if I can't bring 50 up.
But that's his guy.
Right? And I'm like, that's when I start saying crazy stuff, because I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so he imaged himself after a gay painter. The big homie wanted to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We were talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
Oh my God, I think I know where we're going with
So
this.
now look, what I'm saying to you is, look, when you start looking at, that's not mine, that's theirs, they're Harper, right? But when you look at, M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
And not long after that, Jim suddenly started throwing slick shots at Nas. Coincidence? 50 doesn't buy it. Not for a second. See, 50's convinced Jay-Z's pulling the strings behind the scenes, using Jim as a pawn in a bigger game.
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school.
Jay's been itching to stir the pot with Nas again, but instead of getting his own hands dirty, he's letting Jim do the swinging. That's classic Jay. Move silent, use others for the smoke. And 50, he's not fooled one bit. The moment 50 Cent caught wind of Jim's little alliance with Jay-Z, he didn't waste a second. He went straight to Instagram, calling him out like only 50 can. The man lives for this type of drama. He posted clips, memes, and captions clowning Jim for selling out, saying he switched sides just to stay relevant. 50 called him the industry's favorite puppet and hinted that Jay-Z was pulling his strings to do dirty work he didn't want to touch himself. And 50 wasn't just trolling, he was dead serious. He reminded everybody that Jay's got a history of using people to fight his battles while he plays it cool behind the scenes. According to 50, this Nas situation is just the latest example. He basically said, Jim's doing Jay's bidding while pretending he's making moves on his own. Brutal. Then the internet jumped in, and it got chaotic fast. Fans dug up old interviews of Jim praising Nas, calling him one of the greatest, and even saying he inspired his hustle. Those clips spread like wildfire. Suddenly everyone's asking, so which Jim Jones are we getting today? The Nas fan or the Nas hater? It made his whole act look fake, and the memes came flooding in. Meanwhile, Nas didn't even flinch. That's what makes it sting more. The man's unbothered. He's chilling, dropping timeless bars and collecting Grammys while Jim's out here chasing clout battles. And 50, he's loving every second of it. He's throwing jabs at Jim every chance he gets, sometimes subtly, sometimes directly, but always surgical. He even said, Jim's the kind of guy who'll diss a legend just to get his boss's attention. Ouch. And here's where things take a darker turn. Rumors started flying that Roc Nation's camp actually pushed Jim to stir up controversy with Nas as part of a PR move. Think about it. Controversy drives clicks, streams, attention, and Jay knows how to control a narrative better than anyone in the game. If 50's theory is right, Jim's just another pawn on Jay's board, a disposable one at that. But 50 being 50, he didn't stop at just words. He started leaking old behind-the-scenes stories, moments when Jim allegedly begged for features, begged for meetings, and got curved by big names. He's basically stripping away that tough guy image Jim tries to sell, painting him as desperate for acceptance in circles that never really wanted him there. It's wild because this whole thing feels bigger than rap now. It's a battle for pride, for credibility, for relevance. Jim's trying to prove he belongs in the same conversation as legends, but every move he makes just gives 50 more ammo to tear him down. 50 said it before, and it still hits hard. A real boss keeps their hands clean even when they do dirt. That line tells you everything about how this game really works. Jay-Z's built his whole brand on being calm, polished, and untouchable. But behind that slick suit and quiet grin, that man's calculating every single move like a chess grandmaster. From borrowing Biggie's blueprint to freezing out his own Rockefeller brothers, Jay learned early that power doesn't come from shouting. It comes from silence and control. He ain't just playing the game, he owns it. Look at the pattern. He iced out Dame Dash, made sure Cameron couldn't shine too bright, and now he's got Jim Jones out here stirring up old beefs with Nas while he stands back smooth as ever, looking like he had nothing to do with it. That's classic Jay. He lets everyone else get messy while he walks away with the bag spotless. It's ruthless, but it's genius. And that right there is why 50 Cent doesn't rock with either of them. Loyalty's everything to him. And Jay or Jim, they don't live by that code. That's why 50 rides so hard for Eminem. M's been real since day one, never switched sides, never folded under pressure. When the rumor hit that Jay tried to block 50 from performing at the Super Bowl halftime show, it was Eminem who stood up and said, "If 50 ain't performing, I'm not performing either." That's loyalty money can't buy. See, fame fades, streams dry up, and trends come and go. But respect, that's the real currency. Jim might be making noise right now, but Nas built the foundation he's standing on. You can't troll your way into greatness. You earn that with time, legacy, and consistency. So now it's your turn. Whose side are you riding with in this wild saga? Team 50, Team Nas, or you think Jim's really standing on business? Hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, share it with your people, and don't forget to subscribe. This one's far from over.